Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. We are back. The second half is here. Little sweep week. Is your team selling or buying? Hello! And welcome to Talkin' Baseball. And let me be the first to say, happy second half to the beautiful baseball season. Brought to you by SeatGeek, code Talkin'. Trevor Plouffe, BBD, buzzing on this beautiful July 17th. Holy smokes, Trev. How are you doing, my good friend?
Been a rough 24 hours for me because I went viral yesterday. You know me, I'm a recluse. I don't like to be on camera. I don't like people, saying my name. I don't like talking into a microphone. But here I am because of a special wish I made yesterday. More on that later. I'm doing well. I'm in Seattle. So a lot of people have been asking me, hey, you going to pronounce his dad? Are you going to pronounce this? I am not going to pronounce your dad, but the Twins might roll in here. I don't even want to say it. That sounds bad. I was going to say murder the Mariners.
Wow.
It's a little aggressive.
Oh, that would be perfect. If your Twins come in, bring the noise on the Mariners, and that's how you can actually drive home that stake, that would be perfect, Trevor.
It's not going to happen.
Wow.
I mean, the Twins could do that, but I believe in this Mariners team.
You're so fake.
I have the worst coffee I've ever had in my hand right now. I'm in the city of coffee.
Yeah.
But you know where I got this coffee from? My bathroom.
Oh, wow. I never know what to do with that at hotel rooms. Did you make it and sometimes they have a little Keurig in the hotel room? I've never done that. It always freaks me out.
There's probably poop particles in it. It's just
definitely poop particles.
If you're lucky, it's just poop.
Yeah.
All right.
How you doing, Big Daddy?
I'm good. Back in the office. It's John Boy's first day back in the office, so we've got some excitement there. Yep, the return of the king.
Make sure he takes a few breaks, getting back in the swing of things.
Yeah, you got spring training, right? You got to build back up, a couple rehab starts. We just recorded Weekly Dumb, so I'm excited to go, Trev. I'm 2.5, not even 2.5 weeks. It's 2 weeks. The trade deadline is August 1st. Oh, we got to talk about that. Are you out for that? Are you here?
Yeah.
Are we might be taking supermodel pictures, so we got to figure out the timeline with that. But we're 2 weeks out, and my Yankees are a topic. I think we'll touch on them at the end of interleague play a little bit. Their rumors are starting to swirl because the team's bad. Whoa, allergies. And yeah, these final 2 weeks of buy or sell. My Sox kid, they're on a heater, and I think they're playing your Athletics next. There's a lot to be decided, and we'll see what comes out of left field because we know all these GMs. You have the GMs that are going to try to go for the 3-year move and grab a Dylan Cease or, I've been daydreaming of a Marlins-Orioles trade, right? We've got all these young pitchers. We've got all these young hitters. I don't know, figure it out. Play the video game for once. But in the meantime, Trev, I'm excited to get into what happened because it's been a minute.
What's Monday? Is it National League or American League? I never remember.
You guys should add Chris Rose and make him a regular. Fuck off.
Over my dead body.
Oh, add the Hall of Famer to the rotation? Done.
This show is about death today. My dead body. Murdering the Mariners.
Let's go.
Chris Rose's corpse.
Yeah, hi. I enjoy them.
Happy birthday to Michelle Rose.
Yes.
Do not try to hit Chris Rose up late night tonight. None of those 10 p.m. games.
He'll be asleep by 8:30.
Hey, he watches the games, and you know how, Trev? Because Chris Rose got into the AG1 game a little while back. Athletic Greens. Gotta take care of your body. Athletes, me and Trev. Older guys, Chris Rose, AG1, Athletic Greens, whole body health. Give it a try, shake it up, make it part of your daily routine because it can make you, it could be good for you. It could give you some energy throughout the day, some focus, some strength, clarity. Replace your multivitamin, probiotic, and more in one simple, drinkable habit. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D, Chris Rose, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/baseball. What a link. drinkag1.com/baseball. Check it out. There's a link in the description. Thank you, Athletic Greens, and thank you to the beautiful American League for providing us with Chris Rose's Guardians. Wow, let's catch those Twins. Let's win the Central. You got swept by the Rangers. The Heen Dog bounces back in Game 2 after they put up 1 million hits in the first game. That first game was their 50th game with double-digit hits. 50 games with double-digit hits for the Rangers. And then the final game, the Guard Dogs are fighting. They go up 5-2, big home run. Oh, no. The Rangers don't care. They bang Adolis Garcia. Thick neck Josh Young with the 2 RBI single. That team is different, man. They went into the break limping. They come out sweep week. The Houston Astros win their series, but they lose a half step after they take 2 out of 3 from the Halos. The game the Halos won, did they? Extra innings. Ball gets thrown away by the replacement shortstop because Pena got hurt before that. 13-12, absolute anarchy and scoring everywhere. And then in the final game, Halos, they might win the series. They went into the break limping. No, don't funk with my heart. Bregman with the homer. Chaz Michaels McCormick with 2 homers of his own. And then Kyle Tucker, sure. How's your 4 for 5 and a game-saving catch? Houston takes 2 out of 3. Framber left with injury? Don't like that. Houston takes care of their business. Speaking of the West Coast, the Mariners, Trev, you're about to see them. All-Star break. Playing the Tigers. Hey, we did this last year, man. We're about to get hot. I don't know, because you lost 2 out of 3 to the Tigers. Erod trying to pump his stock for the trade deadline. And then All-Star Michael Lorenzen, same 6.20 earned runs. Kerry Carpenter gets it done offensively for them. Mariners salvaged the last game. Bryce Miller, good to see him back. And Cal Raleigh, J.P. Crawford, 3-hit day. Tigers take 2 out of 3 from the Mariners. Oh no, baby, what is you doing? Rays, 2 out of 3 from the Royals. They win on a doubleheader day after getting rained out. 6-1 fortitude to get it done. Arozarena, Jose Siri not caring with his 2-homer game. 18 homers leads the Rays. Jose Siri from the 9-hole, I bet. Hey, Royals, they win the final game of the series. They have a big lead in that one. Brady Singer gives them 8 innings. Rays take 2 out of 3. The Minnesota Twins sweep the Oakland Athletics. How do you like that? Trevor Plouffe motivating. I bet that's motivating and masturbating. Alex Kirilloff with the home run because Trevor Plouffe used his happy.
I didn't do that.
Used his happy wish on it. Eddie Julian, he's in the IG story. Nice, dude. Follow back. Kyle Farmer's your guy. Twins, they sweep Oakland. Trev will tell you all about it. I know you're dying to hear. And that's what happened in the American League. Thank you. You're far too kind.
Did you say motivated?
Motivated. That's
I didn't do that to Alex Kirilloff.
Man, I didn't do that. I could do 30 minutes on motivated. I won't. I'll tell you that the Tampa Bay Rays are in first place at 60-36, but they're only in first place by 1 game. over the Baltimore Orioles. 1 game in the loss column. Orioles are hot. Rays are not. Toronto is 6 games back at 53-41. And the Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees are both 50-44. Twins, 48-46. That'll get you first place in the Central. The Guard Dogs are 45-48. L4 for them. Detroit, 6 games back, the same as the Blue Jays. My goodness, 41-51. White Sox are 40-55. Royals, ooh. Texas Rangers, 55-39. Houston is 3 games back. Seattle, 8 games back at 500. Angels, 9 games back and 2 games under 500, 2-8 in their last 10 in the Oakland Athletics. Trev, you're on the left coast. These games started out in the left coast, and we're a Cron pod. Rangers sweep the Guard Dogs, and like I said, that last game, that's the eye-opener. That's the, oh yeah, this team can do that, and your team might not be able to when they come back 5-2 in the 8th.
I want to check in on Chris Rose after what went down there in Texas. Yeah, the bullpen did not hold for them. There are some exciting things we'll talk about later for the Guardians that happened in this series, talking about the Naylor Bros. But this is more of like what we've come to expect from the Rangers. They haven't been playing great ball. I think since June they were 16-19. And then you open up with a 12 spot after the All-Star break. You win a close one, Game 2, and then you come back in Game 3. So 3 different types of victories for them, but 3 victories that they really needed because the Astros are on their heels, even though the Astros are dealing with like so many injuries. So many injuries. But this was in typical Rangers fashion. It's just this lineup is hard to keep down for 9 innings, essentially. You know, if you're a team playing against them, you got to just keep scoring. And the Guardians aren't that team. I mean, 9 runs into 3 games. You get blanked in the second one, so, you know, that's a little different. But that's not a good matchup for the Guardians. Unless the pitching goes out and does their thing, which is very hard to do against one of, if not the best offense in the league. It's, you know, this is kind of not a sweep, but how you'd expect this series to go almost. You know, they have Adolis Garcia has 80 RBI.
Yeah.
It's nuts, man. Like, and it's just up and down throughout the lineup. I think this Texas team, after kind of going through a little bit of a lull, the break probably did him a little bit of good, and I think we're going to be seeing this type of team more often than not.
In that second game, I like Will Smith and Chapman combine at the back end of that game to get a bunch of outs and seal the deal in a 2-0 game. So that's, you know, we're kind of checking boxes. What can your team do? And the Rangers, the first half, they checked off that they can bang, and we believe that. You know, even their starting pitching has kind of fully checked the box. But yeah, to hold on to that 2-0 lead with those 2 good, very different lefty relievers. And then the comeback, I know we're acting not as surprised about it because I think we believe in their offense, but they were 0 for 27 after trailing after 7 innings before Sunday. So yes, they get to put that notch in their belt. Fun note in that game, Quan and Simeon both hit leadoff homers. That's pretty cool. Second time that's happened this season. Guardians' longest losing streak of the year. And yeah, I don't know. It's the central dance. Like, you only can shrug and do so much with the Guardians. They get the Bieber news that he will be going on the IL, which I could be wrong, but I think that takes him out of trade talks, which is crazy that we're talking about a contending team.
Does it, though?
It might not. It's really just...
He has another year of control, so I don't think it takes him out of trade talks.
Right, but I mean, you're trading for a pitcher with a forearm injury, and maybe I'm a little too burnt from the Frankie Montas trade with the Yankees that...
Sure.
I don't know. It
changes the equation.
To trade for a year and a half of Bieber, and by the way, he's got a forearm thing, I could be trading for nothing. So I don't know. In a way, I think that could be a good thing for the Guard Dogs. Could also be wrong, but... Yeah, I don't know. It feels like the 2 Centrale teams, the Guardians faced the Class, the Texas Rangers, and they get swept. your Twins came into town, did their thing, baby. Yeah.
I don't know what you're trying to say
Nothing.
by that. Yes, the Twins are in first place in their division. I don't want to get into them yet because we're not there, but I think this was a mismatch, to be honest.
It is.
Between these two teams, yeah.
It currently is. Staying out west before we get to those mighty Twins, Astros and Angels. I mentioned that middle game. If you haven't seen the highlight,
It's tough.
Yeah, I hate to be
rude for the kid.
I hate to be rude to our guy Gray Kessinger. Comes in to replace Pena after he gets hurt in that game, and yeah, double play ball would have kept it a tie game. Throws it away. By the way, Jose Abreu. If there's a younger kitten at first base, I think they might come up with that ball, and we could be having a different conversation. But that's the game the Angels win, and then that final game, the Sunday Night Baseball game, they kind of had it in control, and then they give up a bunch of taters late. Ohtani counters the best he can, but it's not enough. And the Astros, man, sometimes again, how many Astro games am I going to watch toe-to-toe in a year? But seeing Dusty Baker fist pumping, seeing how fiery that team is, you're like, damn, like everyone gives the, hey, second half's here, let's go, boys. You could kind of feel that energy out of them that, like you said, they've had the injury bug. They have not necessarily been the Astros from the past years. And I don't know, they're becoming a more and more scary deadline team for me that if they had a veteran pitcher, you're going to believe in it. And I don't know, the one that I think me and BBD stumbled into, Wake and Jake, yesterday is like, if they traded for a Lance Lynn, like, do you not think they're going to tap into that guy? Whatever pitcher I think they acquire, you feel like they're going to tap into. And they're set up to run this second half while the Angels are just free falling.
I mean, yeah, it's the Astros find ways to win. You mentioned all the injuries that they've gone through, but they have guys in their lineup still that just are taking care of business. Kyle Tucker is, I mean, he had an unbelievable game on Sunday yesterday, and on the season, man, he's hitting 299. He's close to being a 3.45 guy. He's hitting 299. His OBP's 377, slugging 490. And what he brings defensively, he ended the game on that diving catch. His homer, the swing was so beautiful. And just, he looks disgusted out there. Like, why would you throw me that pitch?
Yeah.
Look what I'm going to do to it. This team they're just good, man. Coming up clutch, Breggy doing his thing. But they, again, not to mention, the Jordan and the Altuve stuff, but Framber exits with some cramps, he thinks. Pena, as you mentioned, had to exit, and that had the young kid in at short. But yeah, for the Angels, it's a difficult series, man, because, the talk around town is, I don't want to get too much into it because Angels fans, close your ears. The talk around town's Ohtani and what's going on. I mean, freaking Buster Olney during the game talking to Phil Nevin about, like, are you going to trade Ohtani? I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. That's, like, so unprofessional.
A little bit. You're right.
It is, like, it's ridiculous. Like, sure, we want to talk about it because it is a big story. But you're talking middle of the game. You have the privilege to interview the manager of the Angels during the game, and that's what you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Phil Nevin. I know what Phil Nevin wanted to do right there. Phil.
Yeah.
It's a strong individual.
Headlock. You want to put Buster Olney in a headlock.
Yes. And, he handled it with class, and it was a difficult thing for him to do. But, this is, I don't know, man. I don't want to bang on the Angels too much, but if they continue with this slide, it's not good, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know. I think we did our trade deadline draft, and you guys really liked that, so I'm glad. But we kind of poo-pooed Chris Rose. Like, I don't know. In my head, Ohtani trade just won't happen. You're the Angels front office, and you're quitting on a team, but hey, a lot can happen in 2 weeks, and if it keeps going this way, at one point they lost 10 of 11. If you keep doing that, then your hand is completely forced. Like, if you're around 500 with the new wildcard format, you can believe anything. If this continues to get worse and it's over, then you have to trade what's one of the most valuable trade deadline assets in recent history. And I know we've mentioned it before, and if you're a Halo fan and you really hate this segment, which you should, they did get decimated by injuries at the worst time, but also that's baseball a little bit, and the Astros have been without Jordans and Altuve. So, you can use that, but also you can't. So, going to be a fun one in Anaheim this week. Your Halos versus my Yankees.
Oh.
God. Hide
the
knives in the clubhouses.
How about that was a death pod if I've ever heard one.
I forgot it was a death pod.
How about the Angels? Shout out Trey Cabbage. Like a lot of food names on the roster.
That got me good, yeah.
I like that. Little trout, little cabbage. That's a full meal right there. Chaz McCormick may have heard our trade deadline show where I said that they might be going after La Pantera. He said, bro, I play center field here. Yeah. I'm him. Leave me alone. He had a really good series.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy. Every game matters so much right now. And, we're a pitch or two away from being like, Halos, you held serve. Good job. Don't trade Ohtani instead. Instead, we're not.
Malibu Mike's doing everything he can. They're calling him the leader, the emotional leader in the clubhouse.
Maybe that's the problem.
Malibu Mike
been on the team for 3.5 weeks. He's the emotional leader in the clubhouse.
Is that guy though? Like, he's a very likable person.
Him and Nevin wrestling, big bodies.
Him and Nevin. Oh, that's like
hairy.
I'm sure they've shared a few beverages together.
Feels hairy. And kind of, not closing off the West, because again, that vaunted Twins A's series is coming up. Don't change that dial. Dude, on the other side of it, the Halos have been lumped the past few weeks with the Seattle Mariners, who lose 2 out of 3 to the Tigers. And Trevor, just out there, I was being a horse's A, but I actually do believe in this. That, Mariners came in 1 game above 500. They won that last game. Julio, 41 home runs. Oh, what an amazing city. What a great weekend. Can't lose 2 out of 3 to the Tigers anymore, Pop. This is a team we haven't called a seller. But if they have a bad 2 weeks, their hands will be forced.
I think the Tigers are playing a little bit better ball, so we have to give them some credit. I mean, they're 15-15 in their last 30. Okay, 10-10 in the last 20, 5-5 in the last 10.
Could win you the Central.
So they'd be right behind the Twins.
Yeah,
above the Guardians. Yeah, look, I know we joke about the Mariners all the time. And, the town is having fun with me and saying, can you declare us dead? I mean, essentially what we're going to see with Twins Mariners is good pitching, not a lot of offense. I mean, they score 4 runs 6 runs in 3 games. It's not going to get the job done. So, I mean, that's the simple equation there. You got to hit, Pat. Get Lou Dab on this team to put the barrel on the ball a little bit. There were some thrilling moments in this series. Julio Rodriguez came up with a chance. I believe that was in the first game, right?
Well, Julio got robbed in that first game by your guy Vierling, who you love.
He's just sneaky athletic. Me and Vierling, people say that about us. But yeah, there was a chance there. Doesn't come through. They get blanked on game 2, and then, they do a good job of salvaging the series, because if you get swept by the Tigers and you only score 4 runs or whatever it may be, there's some talk around town about you possibly being 6 feet under. Death pod. But I don't know, man. Don't you look at this Seattle roster and say, we've seen these boys do it. What's to stop them from just getting going? Besides, just the bats. I don't know, man. Julio's got to, I don't know.
On paper,
I
like
look at him and I say this team should be really good.
Right. They're in that whole bucket of teams that it feels like they need a shake. And there's, yes, there is 2.5 months, but that number keeps going down and you got to go. And I don't know. They feel like one of those teams that needs some sort of shake, but I don't know what it is. There's every team that it feels like we say that needs a shake. It's just they're not hitting. Like that's the Yanks. That's the Mariners. That's the Mets. So I don't know.
Kelnick started off so hot. His OPS is down to a 763. Julio Rodriguez has a 719 OPS, 312 on base, 407 slug. It's just not going to get it done. Mike Ford's your best hitter.
Oh boy.
JP Crawford, I think maybe your best hitter. I'm gonna
save this. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna move away from it. Detroit, open up your ears. Big week for Detroit baseball. We're playing 4 against the Royals. You could get 3 there. Riley Green's back. We got some other, our guy Kerry Carpenter's hitting. If you can get 3 of 4 against the Royals, then you host the Padres, who they haven't been winning a ton. Then they host the Halos that let's see where their spirits are at. We have a big week of Detroit Tigers baseball that if they have a good week, let's see, if they go Royals 4, Padres, Giants, there's a makeup game, that's 4, 8. I'm seeing 8 plus 3. We all know that's 11. 11 games. If the Tigers can put up a 7-4 or anything better than that, they're probably going to be in play for the AL Central. And all of you teams that were adding Erod or Lorenzen to your rotation, bad news for you. And that's insanity on so many different levels.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're 6 games back right now. And, look, as much as I love the Twins, they don't seem to be running away with anything unless their offense just magically snaps into it in the second half. But you're right. I mean, this is kind of where the decisions are made. I know it sounds so silly in a sport that hates small sample sizes.
Right?
2 weeks, we have to go or not go. And it's like, man, all right, well, you probably should have thought about that. What you needed.
Imagine if you traded for a piece 2 weeks earlier that you needed.
That's the thing we never understand here. And maybe there's some reason for it that these really smart Ivy League guys, the Ivy League is BS, bro. I could have went.
Eat our dicks, Ivy League.
I could have went to your Ivy League. I was stolen your girl too, bro. Golly.
Is Stanford Ivy League? No, right?
I think they're all
the
Northeast,
West,
but it's a sub Ivy.
I'm sorry. Hold on. You don't think those Ivy League schools were calling me?
I mean, I know.
You could have gone to any of those too.
I realize, I understand that part of it. I just want to.
I would have stole all your girls.
Okay. Go Detroit, go. Chaos. That's what I'm rooting for. Mariners, Twins. Hello. Big series, Trev.
Big series.
Are you on the sideline or are you in the booth?
I'm a hybrid role.
You are
I'm
hybrid.
I'm mostly in the booth, but I go down at the late innings to interview the player of the game.
Well,
if the Twins win.
Then let's do this. Let's do this whole thing now because you went super viral on skip one series and come back to it. Twins sweep the Athletics. I didn't watch. The only thing I watched was you give Alex Kirilloff your blessing, and it paid off in droves. So, I don't know. Talk about that if you want. Tell me something about the series, but I don't know. Keep it tight.
It was an interesting vibe in the Coliseum, no doubt about that. There's a lot of kids out there, man. I was trying to get on the field to do these demos. You see my demos. You retweeted them.
Right.
So I'm on the field trying to do this stuff. I'll say this about the A's, and Oakland fans, do with it what you want. They're working. Like they were on the field for 3 hours before they even hit BP, just doing they were doing live BP, taking grounders, doing their infield prep, hitting off the curveball machine. It was just nonstop. I was trying to get on the field. I was like, guys, get off. Let me do my job. but they were on it. But as you said, the arms there in Oakland are they're not polished. There's a lot of good stuff there. Tarnik and Angel Felipe, like these guys have good stuff. And even I forget his name.
Fuji gets me every time, man. He pumps 101, but he's like the most hit pitcher in the league.
Yes. So it's interesting because you want to call them effectively wild, but they're not effective. So they're just wild, and they get behind in counts, and then they get hit a little bit. But that's kind of what happened there. I mean, Gallo had a big homer against Fuji. He's a nut job, Gallo is. Oh my goodness, I love talking to him.
I'm not doing this to be rude to you because it's basically every day of my life, but Joey Gallo next to you, Trev. Just like,
he was too big?
Bigger boy, bigger beard.
Huge.
Bigger boy, bigger beard. Those are the two things that jumped out.
He's huge. That's
huge.
Fine. I'm okay. Me and Joey Gallo showered together.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Okay. My guy Farmer does it in the second game. The Twins scored, man. The offense came to life. In the second game, they scored in 7 of 9 innings. Farmer has this big day. I love him. And then, yesterday they kind of hold there. Joe Ryan does his thing and he almost gets to 6 innings. He's been like 6 innings, 2-3 runs almost every single start. Rocco pulls him a little bit early. JP Sears looks pretty good. Like he throws hard. He uses his slider effectively. But again, the Twins just kind of came through. My guy AK did his thing. And if you want me to tell that story, it's viral, bro. Just go check out all the socials. Yeah. I made a wish for him pregame in the clubhouse. I was like, hey, man, it's 11-11. I got you. And then he said, I'll point to you if I do it. And I was happy he remembered because this guy's
I was going to say, man, if he doesn't give that point, the whole thing is
tough.
Ruined.
Yeah, it's a tough look for me.
Yeah.
But the thing is, most other guys, it'd be like no problem. But AK is like very locked in and focused. You can barely get the guy to smile and have fun, or at least outwardly have fun. So I was a little nervous, because of that. But we got the clip.
We got the clip.
A good job, Twins. I mean, look, you got to take care of business. How many times do we talk about teams like, hey, you better sweep these days? You better do it. And the Twins did it.
Trev, the final series, it's kind of same but different. Actually, without the sweep, the Rays, they win a doubleheader day against the Royals. They take 2 games there, and then they end up losing on that last game. Singer really gave a good effort. And the first 2 games, I mean, it's as razy as a story comes, especially against the Royals. Siri, 2-homer day, leading the team. My goodness. Randy and Wander with big days in that next one, and our guy Glass now 6 innings, 1 earned run as he returns to form. So if you have anything on that, I'm good.
I want to give a shout to Bobby Witt, who's just kind of he's turning into the player that everyone knows he can be. Man, I love watching him play. I think that he has all of the tools in the bag to become a perennial all-star. You could talk MVP with this guy if he catches on and gets hot and kind of learns the league a little bit and gets a little more comfortable at the plate. He's got the tools, man. So he had a decent game there. I think that was in the 3rd game. Hit the homer, had 3 ribbies.
Yeah,
triple. He's got the speed, everything, man. I like watching him play. It's a little Trey Turner-ish for me, and that's a big. That's a big, you know how I feel about Trey.
Yeah, that's an interesting comp.
I feel like that's gotta have been.
He's bigger than Trey, right?
Well, let me see. I think I have his
Trey listed 6'2", 185. No, okay, interesting. Yeah. Trey, I think that's a really good comp.
Well, thank you.
All right.
All right, man. People are complimenting me all over the place these days.
The National League is brought to you by...
Olivia said I was handsome the other day.
Trev,
big for me.
I think it has something to do... I'm going to tell this quick, and I don't know, before I get to LinkedIn, who's bringing us the National League. I worked in a very male-dominant industry before, electrical supplies and distribution. Think of your average electrician. That I don't know, the company you keep. Sometimes if there was a female in that industry, they would stand out a little more because there just weren't a lot. Trev, you doing sidelines of baseball, and maybe it's a Minnesota thing. I mean, you're the belle of the ball. You stand out. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
Done.
I mean, even up against those big leaguers?
Except Joey G. That was
yeah.
Just there's another level.
He looked like your big brother.
I'm still kind of like, I want to be one of the boys.
Yeah. Yeah, you're towing a fine line.
I'm just not, though. I
and
know
that's good.
That. I'm not like, I want to go to dinner with the guys. I want to like be hanging with them, but it's just, I'm too old. I don't know, man.
On
I
the
think
flight?
They respect me.
Right. You got to be careful, though.
They kind of think I'm cool, but they're also like, you don't even know what's going on really, bro.
You need like one older guy on the Twins.
That's Farmer's my guy.
Farmer's the one.
But he's pretty cool himself. He did say he wants to come out and hang with me. So maybe you guys schedule up and we'll just have one big old freaking slumber party at the house.
Yeah, I wish they had like one older, like
they should reunite with Rich Hill or something.
Like if Buxton was 35, like I think he would welcome.
Buck wants nothing to do with
exactly.
Me.
Exactly.
Way too cool for me.
Damn. Hey, LinkedIn. Whether you're looking for a gig or you're looking to hire, that's kind of the balance of it. You've all probably been on LinkedIn. You probably have a LinkedIn. I've accepted your LinkedIn request. But the other side of that is it's a great place to hire if you're looking to hire with LinkedIn Jobs. They help you find the right people for your team faster and for free. The Story Ellie special. Add your job, then the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. That's how you bring them in. Nice and easy. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on the candidates with the right skills and experience. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. I know we've done it over here. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/talkin. LinkedIn.com/talkin. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Check out the link in the description. We do, that's how we do most of our stuff on LinkedIn or DM Joe's. DM Joe's and say, hey, you hiring? And he'll take care of you from there. Let's do some National League Baseball. The San Diego Padres and the Philadelphia Phillies, last year's NLCS, and we get the same result. Phillies take 3 out of 4. They lose the first game. Yu Darvish, Trent Grisham getting his hands in, Trev. I know you've seen that. But the rest of the games went to the fightin' Phillies. Are you kidding me? Schwarbo, Trey Turner, a.k.a. Bobby Witt. God, I'm stealing that. Bryce Harper gets off his homerless streak as he goes big fly in the third game. And then 2 hits for the Killer Bees, Bryce, and Brandon. Stott, Harper, and Marsh for the Phillies. Whoo! Phillies are hot, Trev. I think they're like 25-10 if you butter knife the numbers that way. Meanwhile, Padres, not as much. Melvin gets ejected, fighting with your boy Dan Bellino in that last game. Oh boy, Padres. The National League Central should be won by one of these teams. The Brewers and the Reds, and the Brew Crew flexes on them. Let's go. They sweep them. They shut them out in the first 2 games. Yeah, bring your kids to the park, Cincy. We don't care. Corbin Burns pitching pretty well since he did content with Poppy Gordo. Weird. Freddie Peralta holds them scoreless in the second game. They get enough done with Contreras and Yelly, and then those same guys, Yelly and Andrew Monasterio, with the big hit to secure the win in that final game. Reds, they don't love it, especially when you got to win the division there, but they're calling up another prospect, so don't even worry about them. Encarnacion Strand, Yeah, sure. He's another stud infielder, but maybe they'll make him play the outfield. They don't care. The Reds don't care. Are they going to do something fun at the deadline? I think they might. I'd bring Stroh over. Anyways, Brewers don't care. They sweep. And by the way, Rowdy Tellez, freak injury, shagging flies. We hate that. Weird one. Dodgers, they take 2 out of 3 from the Mets. They almost sweep them, but Luis Guillorme, little jaws of life, saves the Mets. Scherzer, 7 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned run. Mookie Betts and Urias. Tell me if you've heard those guys before. Urias did the same thing, 1 hit. Mookie Betts had 4 of them himself in that second game. Dodgers take 2 out of 3 from the Metropolitans. Giants sweep the Pirates. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Uh-oh, Snakes. Giants sweep, and they get it done in that last game. They go to extras, and they put up a crooked number to win 8-4. Luis Matos, the kid, in the first game with a nice one. Yastrzemski, you might have heard of his grandfather. He hits the big homer in that second game. Giants are streaking. Pirates are heading the wrong direction. Oh, what does it mean? I guess that's the whole episode, so we'll talk about that. Cardinals take 2 out of 3 from the Mats. No thank you, if I'm being completely honest. A little too late. Cards should have figured this out earlier. Jack Flaherty, though, 6 innings, 3 earned. Will he be pitching on a new team? Arenado and Burleson with big games in that second one. Gorman and Goldschmidt in the final game. I'll be honest, didn't watch, and I don't think you did either. That's what happened in the National League. Bum, 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 bum.
You're mean right there, bro.
Hey, man, you, me, Jimmy.
Is it that time?
You, me, Jimmy, BBD, we've had a lot of conversations about this. And, hey, the Cardinals might get a love on our midweek episode, little teaser for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, Trev, for me, and we've had a lot of conversations off screen, some passionate about talking baseball and what to do on this show. And I don't know, man, I'm at the point that Cardinals GM came out, said we're trading. Like it's over. This is what happened. Nats are in the same boat that I can only give that series so much of my time. Because we'll be talking about both teams, I think, trading away players. Team we will be talking about, the Atlanta Braves are 61-31. That is the best record in baseball. They're 9.5 games up on the Marlins. 53-42. L3 in their column. We'll get there. Phillies are 51-42. Ooh, a game behind the fish. Okay. All right, Philly, make it real. New York Mets are 43-50. Ew, Nats behind them. Brew Crew, 52-42. Fortitude. They sweep Cincinnati to take a 2-game lead in the Central. Reds are 50-44. Cubbies, 8 games back, 43-49. Pittsburgh, 2-8 in their last 10, 41-52. A game up on the Cardinals. So maybe the Cards are coming for that 4th place ass. Dodgers in first place, Trev, 53-39. Second place, Giants, 52-41. Third place, Snakes, 52-42. Very interesting. L4 for the Snakes. Padres, LOL, 10 games back. And Rocks, sure, take care of business against the Yanks. So, you're right. Maybe I am a little hot. I'm happy to be talking ball again. None of these Chris Rose live shows and trade.
You trying to steal our show? Get out of here, bro.
Get out of here, Rosie. We're not getting pipped. The first one on the list, Trev, Cronpod, Phillies, 3 out of 4. NLCS, Redux. Hot team versus bad team? I don't know.
Yeah, the Padres are another team I just don't understand how they have the record that they have. Just on paper. I know people that watch the games, they tell us all the time about the problems down in San Diego. First game, they come out swinging the bats. We almost had what I said was going to happen 20 times this year because we had 3 of the 4 big dogs hit homers.
Unreal.
Machado, Soto, and Tatis homered. And they got out to a nice little lead there, and Darvish is on the bump, so that was nice. Then the rest of the series, Kyle Schwarber says, "I got you guys." And took the series over, essentially. I mean, there's a couple good comeback victories for the Phillies. I love the Josh Hader, Bryce Harper at bat. That was, he hits the homer against Suarez when people thought Hader probably should have been in there during the playoff series. Harper gets up there, takes an 0-1 slider back up the box, RBI, which is nice for him. You mentioned he hits the homer. He needs to get going there. But the Phillies are in a position, man, and they've been doing it since the beginning of June, I believe. The record is one of the best in baseball, but this is a team who I fully believe in. And these guys, if they get hot, if Trey Turner starts going, he's kind of going back and forth between that leg kick and the toe tap, which is still interesting to me. I want to, continue to watch him. But I guess these are two teams going in the opposite direction, and it's just crazy to me to think about, again, these Padres and them struggling the way that they are. And look, we talk about the Angels and, hey, man, they're going to start giving up and Ohtani's gone and all this. Like, what's to say the Padres don't do the exact same thing? I get some of these guys are locked up for a long time. A lot of these guys are locked up for a long time. But Blake Snell, he's got to be traded, right? What are you going to do? Like, do they believe they can turn it around? Because I feel like they can, but it just doesn't happen.
You have a week and a half to turn it around. And
that's crazy to me to say that. I don't know. It's nuts to me to wrap my brain around that. You have a week and a half to do what? They got to go 7-3. They got to go 10-0. Like, what do they have to do, man? Because there's, what are they, 6 games under 500 right now? So if you get back to 500, all of a sudden you're back in it.
You need like an 8-10.
A what?
Or 8-2. And
I guess, dude. And then all of a sudden, because you go on a little streak here, that makes you feel completely different about your team. It's nuts to me. But I mean, I guess that's the situation that we're in right now. This is a great series for the Phillies, dude. They're coming. And you talk about teams that don't give a F. Phillies don't give an F. Bryce Harper, by the way, starting to wear the pearls. Bryce Harper. Jock Peterson, I don't know if he still wears them. Does Jock still wear them?
Storielli. A lot of the kids are wearing them now.
I don't know, man.
Fun one this week.
The other two teams, yeah.
Fun one this week. Padres, Toronto, in Toronto. Musgrove, Manoah, Darvish, Berríos, Snell, Bassett. That feels like this was like a video game World Series coming into the year. So I'm interested in that because if they do survive, Padres have Detroit and Pittsburgh, which, if you're trying to salvage a deadline and go, I mean, there's a chance because you see the talent on the roster, but I don't know, man. I think momentum's a very real thing, and I think I don't know how to bottle it. Otherwise, I'd be in one of those front office gigs. But the Padres seem to hate momentum. Yanks, Mets, like all those struggling teams that, think about it, the Padres come out, they put up crooked numbers. We're all homering. First game out of the All-Star break. Vamo, let's go. And then you drop the next 3, including the last one, 12 innings where you stranded the ghost runner twice that would have won it.
That's nuts. Yeah, you got to give a shout out to Hoffman,
yeah,
who I think he was like a minor league free agent pickup. And who's had just an incredible run this year, including what you just mentioned, stranding the guy twice. It's only happened in the Biddies 3 times, I think, this year.
Can't happen.
Is that correct? Thought I read that as I was doing research for this.
Why not? No one's going to check.
Someone check.
The Central, Trev, my favorite division to watch the rest of the way because I don't know what's going to happen. Same with these teams at the deadline. The Brewers. I love it. You could hear it in my voice, and I'm sorry, Cincy, it's not shots fired at you, but if the Reds gave the Brewers the work, I think we all kind of would have tilted our heads and be like, then maybe it's too much. Maybe they just have the energy. Maybe they have too many kids, and they're good, and it's fun. The Brewers. Step on their throat in kind of Brewer way. 1-0 Corbin Burns. 3-0 Freddie Peralta. Like, for them to do that, it's It was kind of brewery baseball in a good and bad way. But they sweep them, and you only have so many games against the other team now with the new divisional schedule that this was massive for the Brewers. Because I heard people around the office last week talking about, are they going to trade Burns at the deadline? Kind of the Shane Bieber conversation. And I was like, no. Like, the Brewers should win their division. So, Trev, where are you at? What about this series?
I think this is an example of, the Brewers are a team you don't want to face in a playoff series because something like this could happen. This is what we always talk about. They went in to Cincy. Yeah. All we've heard about is this place is rocking. You don't want to come to Cincy right now. The energy is so hot. And it is. That's true. I'm not trying to take anything away. The fans have showed up. The team has played. The young dudes have come up and just energized the city. And then here comes Corbin Burns. He's like dying out there. It's so hot. How many Ks did he have? 13 Ks in 6 innings pitched. That's how you shut a crowd up, man. Yelly did his thing this series. Couple homers. Peralta, again, a great start. So you get 6 innings from Corbin, 6 innings from Peralta, both shutty. Hauser kind of, a decent start there. But Devin Williams at the back end, too. 3 saves, right?
Devin
saved
Williams.
Every single game. And, you're talking about an offense that had been just absolutely going. And that's what ran this team. We talk about the starting pitching with the Reds, and, they need better starting pitching. They didn't do poorly this series, but they were being sustained by an offense scoring in droves. Milwaukee comes in, shuts the offense out. And this is what happens, man. An absolute statement series for the Brewers right here. I mean, there's no other way to slice it, man. Going into Cincy, 3 games, it's nuts. This was an excellent series for them, and now we have to talk about them. What are they going to do? Are they going to add a bat? They always do some weird stuff. They ain't going after Juan Soto if he's available. They're not in the Ohtani sweepstakes, but they'll find somebody. The Rowdy Tellez thing is weird. Broke his fingernail off, shagging balls. Yeah. Rowdy, what is you doing,
17
baby?
Stitches.
Why are you shagging? Nobody shags anymore, dude.
Shagging balls on the IL. I don't know.
Dang it, Rowdy. Eat a brats.
Both of these teams are so fun at the deadline for me because I don't know if Cincinnati does anything with their chips. They have a ton of chips, but I also think they kind of love where they are. Obviously, you'd love to see them get pitching. Brewers are the opposite. They always seemingly have pitching. They're running a 6-man rotation right now, and they need a bat. So in both of these teams, it feels like if they made one move at the deadline, like a powerful move. If the Reds added a good starter, if the Brewers added a middle of the lineup bat, I think you and I would sit here, thumbs up our butt, and be like, that could be the difference.
I wouldn't do that. Not really into that.
Reds call up another freaky prospect, Encarnacion Strand. All he's done is hit in the minor leagues. So
from the Twins.
From the Twins, same as Spencer Steer for Tyler Malley. Excuse me?
That was a tough one for the Twins. Could have used some of those guys. Although right now, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Enough Twins. Dodgers, Mets. I mean, Trev, I'll see what you got because honestly, I don't have too much of a deep dive. Like I said, in the first 2 games, the Mets score 0.5 runs per game. And then they win 2-1 with the extra inning runner and Guillorme driving it in. So the Mets struggles, like a lot of these teams who are struggling, are offensive. Scherzer gives them a special outing. Otherwise, Dodgers, I don't know. I think they laugh and shrug almost. Like, yeah, there's Mookie, there's JD Martinez, there's Freddie with the 2 RBI, with 2 walks and a double in that first game. I don't know what else there is to say.
I'm always interested to see how teams come out of the break because you can spin it so many different ways. Oh, we got rested, so now we're ready to go. We come out firing. Or you can say, damn, I didn't see a pitch for 4 days.
Yeah.
Now my timing's off. And you mentioned, I mean, you score 3 runs in a 3-game set. You're lucky to take 2. Or you're lucky to take 1, excuse me. Dodgers came out and did their thing. It's not easy facing Urias and Gonsolin out of the break, and even Bobby Miller kind of did his thing. You got some decent starts from your guys. You threw your best pitchers, but in the end, thank you to Yorme there. The Dodgers are just a better team right now. I don't think there's any way around it. Betts goes 4 for 4 in the second game. JD Martinez continues to do it. They're just a really good team. They're a really, really good team. They've dealt with their injuries, but in true Dodger fashion, they've just been able to stay afloat and not even stay afloat. I mean, they're in first place right now.
They're in first.
Got those hot Diamondbacks, staying ahead of the Giants. We say Mets get Metsy or whatever you guys say. The Dodgers get dodgy, baby.
Ooh.
But in a good way.
That good dodgy. Speaking of Metsy, I feel bad for my guy Brett Beatty.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, infield pop-up. And by the way, they posted a really good angle with it with like the golf tracer. And I don't know who catches that ball. I think the shortstop should be there to catch that. Dude, it was bad, Trev. Like it goes from foul ground.
I mean, I saw it, bro. I saw it. It's not an easy play per se, but
that adds
turned
some
around
funk.
a little bit. Get turned around a little bit.
That adds some funk on it, and then it hits him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mets are great in extra innings. 6-1 in extra innings this year. 16-3 since 2022. So just get it to extras.
Get it to extras.
That would be my analytics. Giants sweep the Pirates, Trev. And as I mentioned, and we'll get to the Snakes part of this later, they jump into second place in the West. They're on the Dodgers' ass. Everyone's there. They're all within 2 games of each other. It's actually, we talk about best division races to watch. This NL West could be a special one down the stretch. I don't know. Pirates are in a different mode. They just called up 3 of their top 10 prospects, so that's fun if you're a Pirates fan. But my God, if you take out April, they have been losing games in bunches. It's very much looking like the second half of the season is going to be, let's watch Henry Davis. Let's watch my guy, what's his name? Beto, who's been twirling the pill for them. And the 3 prospects they just came up. Well, the Giants, per usual, they are a literal and figurative wild card because I don't know what their ceiling is. They could make the biggest trade at the deadline. They could trade for Ohtani. They could also do nothing and win at 103. I have no clue.
Giants sweep Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh while the Grateful Dead are doing their farewell tour at their stadium back home. So just an absolute victory for San Francisco over the weekend. But the Giants perform like the Giants can perform up and down the lineup of these guys. I mean, go check out their baseball reference page, Jake, and just look at all the guys with OPS pluses over 100. Now we kind of talk about that and we're like, Jake Lytics, like have as many good players as you can get. That's kind of what the Giants, that's their MO, man. And the young guys, that first the game, Bailey and Matos, they had the singles in the 7th inning to put them ahead. Then Cobb does his thing. What a year he's had, man. That's really inspirational, I think, to a lot of guys around the league. Cobb is one of the more well-liked guys, and he gets his first All-Star nod and continues to throw well. And then another comeback victory for the Giants. And it's kind of that's what we always talk about with the Giants is they're relentless because of that long lineup. There's no lulls in scoring. They can just kind of nip at you inning after inning after inning, and that's kind of what happened this series, man. They come away with the sweep and they stay on par with the Dodgers. It's great.
I've been spinning my wheels about their deadline so much in the past 24 hours. And it could also be all for naught because they, with a good week, they could be first place. And God, do they love what they do. The Giants love being the Giants. Gabe Kapler's in the goddamn river kayaking and posting it on his Instagram story after the game. Because he doesn't. Baseball's secondary to Gabe. Maybe not even second. It might be top 5. Life.
Gabe loves life.
Life is 1. Meat is 2.
He does. You know, he's kind of off that meat diet, bro. He's
Okay.
doing some things.
That's
he likes
good.
food now.
He's a foodie.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not off meat. I remember that tomahawk he posted the other day. My goodness.
That's true.
I'm still
That's true.
thinking about that.
More on like the Rogers brothers later. Don't worry, we're
Hmm.
gonna get to them. But yeah, I don't know, man. It was a great series for the Giants, and like I said, they just kind of play good ball.
They got Discalfani coming back. Webb, Discalfani, Stripling, Cobb, and Wood. Like,
I mean, good rookie catcher comes into San Francisco, stirs things up. When have we heard that before?
Oh, Trevor.
10, 12, 14 do anything for you guys?
You're sick.
I mean, is that not what we're talking about here? I mean, I'm not going to put the guy on Buster Posey's level. I'm just saying like that. How many times have you heard me say when you have an offensive-minded catcher, it's a cheat code?
Yeah. It's a leg up.
Look around the league.
Wow. Hey, Pirates, enjoy watching a bunch of your kids. You know what? It's worth me scrolling up to give the shout-outs because they called up 3 kids on the same day, which that's actually a lot of fun. They're calling up Endy Rodriguez, their number 3 prospect, Quinn Priester, number 4, and Peguero, who was actually, he was up a little bit last year, so it's not brand new. But hey, if you're a Pirates fan, this season was supposed to be a stepping stone. In a way, it's been. It's that stepping stone is fading pretty hard, but we're still building to something there, and you can start to believe in some things. You want any Nats cards? Because I don't. Before we plunder the Cardinals.
Could talk. I don't know, man. You know, Lane Thomas does his thing in the extras there. Joey Meneses is going off for the Nationals. So there are some things happening. I still like watching C.J. Abrams play. Then the Cardinals kind of take control of the series. Burleson does his thing, hits a homer, then Rob is my guy, Joey, of a homer. Someone had a big milestone. Who was it? Was it Arenado? Got to 1,000 RBI, I believe, something like that. Could be totally wrong on that.
I know Stanton just did that.
That's what it was. I'm sorry. Yeah,
okay.
Chris Rose sent me questions. That's one of them for baseball today. I thought it was Arenado for some reason. Sorry. Flaherty wins.
Flaherty wins 4 straight.
Hey, his numbers, he's kind of been up and down. Had some interesting starts, but the numbers are starting to look pretty dang good. He's going to be moved. He's gone. They asked him about that, like, this could be your last start at can't forget the name in St. Louis, at Busch Stadium, and he didn't really think about that, but could have been
good for him because I could also see Jack Flaherty being like,
so
then let it die. Be like, whoa, all right,
go
Jack.
quote the Dark Knight and walk away.
Busch Stadium just needs a little chaos.
We're not supposed to talk about this series, bro.
All right, let's do some interleague baseball. Man, some big sweeps in the IL. The Florida Fish versus the Baltimore Birds, baby. Marlins, Orioles. And you know what the Orioles said? Take your 1-run record and shove it up your butt. They win the final 2 1-run games, 6-5, 5-4. You know my guy Kyle was just being bratish. Orioles fans, you want some honesty? Was gonna give him my standout, just booted him. Sorry, Bradish, you're out. 7.1, 3 hits, 0 earned runs. Adam Frazier, the trade we will discuss soon. 2-homer game in that first game. Adam Frazier, good for you. Santander put his fingerprints all over this series. Orioles, W8. 1 game back of the Rays. Blue Jays sweep the Diamondbacks. Anyways, what else we got? Red Sox take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. No, Blue Jays. You guys are balling out right now. Talk about coming out hot out of the break. They get a couple clutch hits. Brandon Belt with a clutch hit in the first game to open that one up. You know who opened up the last game, Trev? Danny Jansen. Danny Jansen. Danny Bonds, as Blue Jay fans are calling him. He opens it up. 3-2 lead to 7-2 on the 3-run double. Math didn't check out there, Jake. My Snakes are sneaky, floundering a little bit. Hate that for them. Blue Jays, they're coming. They look good. Get your popcorn ready. Oppenheimer, Barbie, Blue Jays. Red Sox take 2 out of 3 from the Cubbies. Red Sox, they win the bread games, including a blowout on the final day. Bayo, 6 innings, 3 earnings. Okay. Devers, 2-homer day. Cody Bellinger had a 2-homer day of his own. It was summer ball at Wrigley. Ball was flying out of the park. Masataka Yoshida, might hear about him later because he be hitting. Sox kid, they take 2 out of 3. They are coming. They're having a nice stretch. Cubs, please sell. White Sox take 2 out of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. Here's your surprise of the weekend. I think if we're being honest, Braves won 9-0 on the first day. The Salt Man, Charlie Morton, and that's obvious. But then the White Sox get it done. Benintendi and Berger. Sounds like a nice day. And then Luis Robert. Maybe an AL MVP candidate? They would need that Ohtani guy to leave town. White Sox, they take the final 2 against the Braves. Sure, why not us? Because of a year and a half of failures. And the Rockies take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. Rockies win the bread games. Yankees won the middle. Clark Schmidt, nice start. That final game, the Rockies and Ryan McMahon did everything they could do to give the game away, and the Yankees said no thank you. And so did Nolan Jones, who, my goodness, he is hitting taters. 450 plus only for Nolan Jones. CJ Cron grand slam, just forgot about that and remembered. Rockies tried to lose. Yankees would not let them, as the Rockies take 2 out of 3, and that's what happened in the IL. Yeah, snaps. Give them snaps.
What's Sean Casey doing?
Sean Casey, yeah, the boys be hitting. Solved our problems. Put Sean Casey at first at this point.
Woo! This is a big interleague right here. Holy shnikey!
Yeah, it's sweeps. So I think we can be concise about that part a little bit. Although Blue Jays, I think they've separated themselves from the Sox and the Yanks for a little bit, and they're trying to get lumped in with the Rays in Baltimore. They sweep the Snakes. Like I've alluded to a couple times, Snakes are now in 3rd, and they're in dangerous territory as we approach that trade deadline. Like you don't want your front office being like, well, the season was already, we've already exceeded our expectations. Let's not mortgage the future. Yeah, let's not mortgage the future, but if you're the Snakes team and you don't add at this deadline with all the momentum and goodwill you've built up, that would feel like a miss. Trev, in this series, those Blue Jays, they flex what they can do.
Why are you skipping over the Orioles Marlins?
Because I didn't scroll up all the way, so I thought we could be professional and play through it, but that's on me, and I'll wear it. Good.
Yeah, because I'm getting my thoughts together for the Orioles Marlins. This was a great series, man. This is like a real deal, playoff implications type thing here, and the Orioles showed up, man. They are coming for the Rays. You mentioned the W8 for them, and they have to face, a really good pitching staff, a team that's been hot. They do their thing. You know why? Because Adam Frazier shows up, bro. 2 homers in the first game. And then they have the young guy, Gunnar Henderson, do it in the last game. Then a really great start by Bradish. Santander, congratulations on 100 homers. They kind of just kept going, too. They just, I know the Marlins offense isn't the best offense in the league, but they've been able to, like you mentioned, win those 1-run games, and the Orioles didn't. Or the Orioles said, nah, man, we got it this time. Even Cano gives up a homer. They're okay with that. They figure it out. They get the win in that game, obviously, because they swept. But very impressive series for the Orioles to start off the second half.
We harp a lot about depth, I feel like, in that second month of the season, because you've got guys that are slumping and you got guys that get hurt. So I think once you hit that second month, it's depth season in baseball. Right now, the Orioles have like a starting lineup on the bench. James McCann has been a starter in this league, backup catcher. Ryan Mountcastle currently listed as a bench guy for Baltimore. He hits. Jorge Mateo won the pedal at short to start the year. He's currently listed as a bench player. Urias won the Gold Glove at third last year, listed as a bench player with Colton Cowser. So whether you're mixing those guys up, Jordan Westberg, Adam Frazier, Aaron Hicks, the Orioles have crazy depth, and they bang. And this rotation that we've been so skeptical about, Kyle Bradish has been awesome. Dean Kramer has been awesome. Tyler Wells has been great. They're calling up Grayson Rodriguez again. I'm less concerned about how they perform. I'm more concerned that it's a lot of young guys that haven't logged a ton of MLB mileage, that you're going to have to still add some pitching just to save their arms. But this team's stacked. They're a game back of the Rays for being the best record in the AL.
9 guys on their team have over 145 at bats that have over 100 OPS plus. 9 guys. So they're a full lineup of dudes, and you could even do it better than that. 7 of those guys have an OPS plus over 120. Like, this is a team that's hitting the ball, man. And yes, thank you for giving the Orioles Aaron Hicks. He's been special. 837 OPS plus, 133 OPS plus, man. But some of the names, I mean, this is not a household name team. Ryan O'Hearn, Santander, I feel like people know. Austin Hayes, Hicks, Adley Rutschman's doing his thing. Gunnar Henderson's doing his thing. Cedric Mullins. I mean, the list goes on and on, dude. It's Jake Lytics to a T right here.
Are you worried about the fish? Do you just say Baltimore's good? Like one-run games is...
Yeah, I'm worried about the fish because it's, the one-run games thing is not necessarily sustainable throughout a season. And, the offense just hasn't been there. And it seems like they've been winning games and winning series. And every time we talk about it, we're like, man, they did it again. It's like surprising. But yeah, maybe I'm not giving up on the Marlins because of one series. And obviously, it's baseball, man, and they played good baseball. But I don't put them in the same tier as some of these other teams, even though their record would suggest it.
Yeah, someone in the comments, give me the Orioles Marlins blockbuster, because everything I said about the Orioles young hitters and the Marlins young pitchers we talk about, figure that out. Yeah, I think our tone on the Marlins will change a lot if we see the Phillies jump them, which could very well be our Friday episode. Could be our Wednesday episode.
So I said 7 players on the Orioles had an OPS plus over 120. Yeah. 2 on the Marlins. You have Soler and Arise doing their thing. So.
Yeah. That's, yeah. Blue Jays, Diamondbacks. Trevor. My DBacks are scuffling. And the guys you'd think, well, actually not, because you thought the Padres were going to be there. But now the Dodgers are on top. The Giants are right there. You just got swept. Those first 2 games were winnable. You lost a Gallon day, which is always going to hurt you. And I don't know. I think people saw my head tilt. Maybe it was the last series recap. Maybe it was Monday morning. The Blue Jays are kind of poised. Their rotation is healthy. Their lineup is there. That we've been distracted a lot by the Orioles and the Rays. Obviously, I get sucked into Yankees world. The Blue Jays have been under the radar, and I think that's kind of a good thing for them. That if they have a couple hot weeks and they start getting in the mix, I think it was when we were talking division, the Toronto Blue Jays could very well win the AL East, and that hasn't been in the ether too much this year.
I think they were my preseason pick to win the AL East. I just like the way the roster is constructed, and in this series, they scored late, and that's kind of here's some Trevor lytics.
Ooh.
Score late. It's good for your team. Good for the vibes there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the first game, they scored 5 unanswered. Excuse me. In the seventh inning, it was tied 2-2. Score 5, probably going to win that game. In the second game, similar fashion. They scored late. They kept going. That you're going to win those games, and I think you're right. They've stayed relatively healthy, and they have the lineup to do it. We're at a point now where it's like I want to talk about roster construction and I want to talk about what we got here, but we're going to be seeing these teams look differently because of the trade deadline. As far as the Snakes, I don't know what they're going to do at the deadline. They were winning games, and we were like kind of – I think they were similar to the Marlins. We kind of were like, they're winning games. We just kind of accepted it. Like, okay, they're just a good ball club, and they're dynamic, and they can score in a bunch of different ways. And, they got Christian Walker will pump you if you need it, and Corbin Carroll's doing his thing. And, we don't necessarily need to worry about the pitching staff. They got 2 fucking high-end guys at the top, and there's some guys, in the rotation that you can, lean on a little bit as well. But they're kind of coming back down to earth. And did they need a little bit of jolt from a move? Did they just get beat by a better team? I don't know, man. It's sometimes it's difficult to take away from one series and kind of talk about an entire season. But right now, I would put these two teams on different tiers. Like I'm a believer, a big believer in the Blue Jays, and I got to be honest with you, I never really got on the Snakes train this year. I want to because I love watching them play, but when I think about 162 and the teams that are there, like I just never had them fully going. And shoot, I hope. And that's in my mind. Someone's probably going to pull up some clip of me being like, "I really believe in the Diamondbacks." No, I don't think I ever said that.
No, you've been good. You've been worried about the starting pitching, and I think there's a fairness there. Like right now, Merrill Kelly's on the IL, so it's Gallen, Tommy Henry, Zach Davies, and Ryan Nelson. I think you've appreciated the lineup. You've been giving Christian Walker a lot of love for kind of being a sexy younger Longo. The lineup's done their thing. It's a question of, is the pitching going to hold? And I don't know. I guess that's where I'm not freaking out. These games were close late. That one swing or another, I don't think Corbin had really a special series, and he's a guy that stirs the drink there. Scary off day, and you're heading to Atlanta. So if you're the Snakes, you just got to make sure the L column turns to a W in one of these games. Then they head to Cincinnati, so they've got a little road trip against some aggressive, talented teams that you don't want to look up and say, "Oh my God, we're 2-8 in our last 10, we're 1-9 in our last 10," because then that changes their whole deadline, and that changes. I don't know if you can go out and get a pure rental, because then you're mortgaging a future that you've already, had a great year with planning.
The lineup is good, man. I'm on their page right now.
7th in runs.
Yeah, they can score. There's no doubt about it. And I guess you're right. I mean, maybe they just ran into a team that is just a little bit better than them right now.
Figured out.
Are they still? I believe they're the half game up on Philly for the last wild card spot.
I can get there. I believe so.
Right now.
Yes, they're a half game up on Philly, and they're a half game back of Miami. So, half game back or a game back of San Francisco. So, I mean, they're still, that.
Of course, they're right in the mix, but they're 52 and 42. And that's off a sweep. So,
Cincinnati and San Francisco are playing each other. Very interesting, man.
Okay, you pick a team going forward. Diamondbacks, Blue Jays.
Oh, Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've been waiting for this Blue Jays thing to happen, and there's a chance. Like, now that the Orioles have reined in the Rays, I think the Blue Jays are coming next. Because I think
Blue Jays exactly one game ahead of the Snakes as far as record. 53-41. Snakes are 52-42. So they just passed them with this series.
Toronto Padres.
What are they in runs? Let me get that up.
14th or 13th in runs, 5th in average, 9th in OBP. Man, they're kind of top 10 at every level: hitting, starting pitching, and relief pitching. I don't know. They feel dangerous. Like they
do. They feel like they're like ready to strike.
No, I said this with the Brewers, that it felt like they hadn't had much go right yet. Like Yelly had kind of returned to a really good Yelly form. The Blue Jays, Vladito isn't having an MVP type year. Like Chapman had that hot month. I guess Whit Merrifield played better than you thought, but otherwise, Bichette will lead the AL in hits. You can pencil that in, and their rotation, man. Like if Manoah's back, Gossman's been awesome. Barrios and Bassett have been really good. Their bullpen has been fuego. Like Toronto's coming. If there was a bet, will Toronto be in first place in the AL East the rest of the season? I would take that bet.
What did you say? Toronto's what?
Toronto, you don't say the second T. If they would be in first place again in the second half of the season, I would place that bet.
Toronto and Chris Rose.
First place. Michelle Rose tonight. Sox and Cubbies, Trevor. Balls flying. Devers. Some big boy games. The whole Sox offense. I know you're highlighting a Sox player later. Cubs seem to be trickling into the break and have those pieces that teams would be interested in. Belly, Stroh, a couple others. What do you have from this series?
Well, you have to talk about Brian Bayo so the Red Sox fans don't attack our social media team again. Why are they so mad at us?
We're Yankee fans, you and me.
Because Brian Bayo didn't have a good start to his year last year, and we're said, hey, he's a young guy.
Don't attack the Sox. They're playing good baseball. They're hitting.
He's good. We said he's gonna be good, man. He's done a great job this year.
TPP.
Yeah,
another nice start by Brian Bayo, who's definitely in their starting rotation. Really good, guys. He does his thing. Not so much for James Paxton, so much for Marcus Stroman, who's talks of a lot of trade talks. Him and Belly, man. He made some remarks that I'll be talking about on Baseball Today later. The Sox are they tied with the Yankees now, or are they ahead of the Yankees?
They're same record. They currently have a tiebreaker, yeah.
What's your scale of believing in the Sox to make a run?
My scale of believing in the Sox to make a run.
Yeah, I'll give you a 1 through 10.
Here's
5 being like, I don't know, and 7 being like, I think they got it.
I think they're going to be sitting good in a week and a half. They're going to Oakland, so that, feels like a minimum of 2 wins. They have a couple off days, which always helps a bullpen, and they play the Mets. That for the Red Sox, and I think this might shock, biased Yankees Jake, I would love if they added a pitcher. And maybe it's not a rental. Maybe it's
That's not biased, bro.
Maybe it's a year and a half. Maybe it's a year and a half guy. Like, if you're the Red Sox, you've just built up a lot of momentum. We're a week or so removed from the Red Sox being 500, and can they be a part of this East? To now you're out of it. Like, build on that. And I think they will. I think they will. And I think they're going to be sitting pretty in a week or so.
Cutter Crawford's pitched well as of late. Bayo's going to be there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's far off to say, hey, let's add some pitching. I think that's okay to say about them. But this team can bang. That we've known that. We've said that all season long. Let me look what they're at. You know what? It's time to check in. I haven't checked in on runs scored on the Fangraphs roster research in a
Wow.
while.
Trevor
I need to get
runs.
my bearings here. 5th in runs. I knew they'd be up there, man.
Yeah.
So, they have a great offense, and we're talking about a team that's 23rd overall in ERA, 16 in WHIP. It's a little bit better. But they can definitely use a little bit of bullpen help, a little bit of starting pitching help. And then we're talking about a completely different Red Sox team. As far as the Cubs, man, Stroman's talking about, hey, like, you can trade me and I might come back. He's got all the leverage right now, which is really, really funny to me. It's cool to see him talking about that. I actually enjoy that, and I think he's handled it the correct way.
Tristan Casas, I think 3 straight homers. Big boy. If he starts to click even more, Cutter Crawford with a nice start. Friend of the company, Tucker Barnhart, with a fun position player pitching appearance. Cody Bellinger, man, watch out. Watch out. That's going to pick up.
Now, wait, next series, you told me that the White Sox are pretty much in the thick of the AL Central.
No.
That's what you said.
I didn't say that.
You said they got these guys, these series coming up, and they can go. They're sitting 6 games behind the Twins.
The
and in 2
Tigers.
weeks.
I said that about the Tigers.
Oh, that's right.
So
what am I talking about?
Maybe just listen. Don't try to come at me like that.
That's a little early morning West Coast. I apologize right there.
Try to come in. So, well, while you're there, Braves, White Sox. Trev, we were both locked into this one. I'm over it. Good for you, White Sox.
I could be over it. You know what? People have been saying we don't talk about the Braves. All we say is they're going to be there. They're going to be there. Do you want to give the Braves just a little?
I don't think the Braves want us to talk about them now. They just want us to go to the White Sox.
They came out hot. Charlie Morton does his thing, and then you have freaking Matt Olson, date your daughter, hits the homer. I mean,
messed up.
Braves fans down the stretch, we'll be talking about your team.
There's a lot of Braves talk coming. It's like,
I guess you're right.
And over the next 2 weeks, I'm sure there will be a big Braves conversation at some point. They're gonna add.
They're another fun deadline team. Are they just gonna add for funsies? That's kind of what they do.
Well, I just keep going into the fan bases because I've been reading some of the comments. You know, in our trade deadline ep, we didn't have anyone going to the Braves. They're like, you think AA is just gonna sit on his hands? I was like, that's not really the point of the episode. We're kind of having fun
calling
with it.
specific trades and being a little goofy.
God, everyone's freaking calling me right now.
Who's calling you?
I got FaceTime from my buddy Nick, FaceTime from my wife Olivia. Chris Rose is texting me. People want a piece of me, man. I went viral yesterday.
Do you want my thoughts on Yankees Rockies? Do you want to twist the knife or?
No, I mean, it's a tough way to lose a series.
Sure was.
Nolan Jones, Trejo. Whoops. Yeah, what you got, bro?
Yankees faced 3 starters with ERAs in the 6s, and they couldn't really muster anything.
They average 5 runs a game.
How many were earned?
I don't know. Does that matter?
Yes. McMahon threw the ball away twice. The Yankees didn't.
A little bit.
They can't hit, and their lineup's not good. And they don't play great defense, and they run the bases horribly. It's an awful product to watch.
Doesn't feel like a winning formula.
It's really funny because they are still 6-7 games over 500. And Yankee fans talk about them like it is, like they're dead. And I agree with you. Like, if you watch the product as of late, not very good. I mean, they need Aaron Judge in there and some offensively. But, you know, here in Minnesota, we're a couple games over 500. We're like, hey, we got this, guys.
Times are good.
I know that's a divisional thing. But the juxtaposition of those two things is pretty funny to me. Look at me, I'm smiling.
Alan Trejo, his first homer this year. It's a walk-off. Cool for him. And, dude, Nolan Jones is hitting.
He always hits tanks.
Big boy taters. I think he's
always.
He's ending up on some leaderboards for, like, I think rookies hitting the longest homers. I think it's like him and Jock, and there's one other guy. Yeah, I don't need to talk about them. We won't talk about them because we can talk about standout performances. And you know what's a standout performance? You know what stands out to me? That orange and that blue moon. That's a standout performer.
From Valencia.
That's a standout performer. That's someone who's bringing it to the table. Had a couple of these in Seattle. Have a couple of these wherever I go. Because you can get blue moon pretty much everywhere. Blue moon, it's for baseball people. It was brewed under the annals of Coors Field in Colorado. Their Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer. And it's just made brighter. I don't know what to tell you. And I mentioned you can get it everywhere. You can even get it delivered. Get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball to find Blue Moon delivery options. Get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball. Blue Moon. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing, Colorado. Click the link in the description as we get to our standout performances.
All right, guys, I'm leading this one off.
Nice.
And I'm going to talk about Masataka Yoshida from the Boston Red Sox. He had a game. He went 3 for 5, a triple, a grand slam, and gave himself 6 ribbies and 2 runs in that game. And I want to bring you back to a little time called April. Now, we saw Yoshida do his thing for Japan, and everyone was so excited to see him get to the big leagues and show what he could do. The Red Sox have given him 5 years, $90 million, which now seems like a steal. And then he gets to the big leagues and struggles, right away. And everyone's like, "Oh man, it's the big leagues. It's the big leagues." And yeah, that's true. It is the big leagues. But a guy like this that can hit will make adjustments. And he's made adjustments. He's figured the league out a little bit. He's calmed down a little bit. He's gotten, comfortable, playing in the States in a completely new environment. I mean, Fenway's not the easiest place to play. The NL or the AL East, not the easiest place to play, man. But Yoshida's numbers on the year, a lot of round numbers, which I really like. First of all, happy 30th. He just turned 32 days ago. So snaps for him. Got a nice set of teeth on him. 100 hits on the nose as of right now. He's almost a 3.45 guy. He's hitting 317. 381, 502 for an 883. He's already driven in 50 runs. He's scored 50 runs. Stolen 6 bases. This guy is putting together a very, very good season. Who's the American League Rookie of the Year right now? Is there someone that's running away with it that I don't know about? That I'm just blanking on.
American League Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, give me some stats because guess what? He's in the conversation.
It currently has thick neck. Josh Young is the favorite.
Okay, all-star first year. Love that.
It has Yoshida at 2 and then Gunnar Henderson at 3. And it essentially has it as a 3-horse rate. Then you start getting into Hunter Brown, Volpe, some deeper cuts.
Okay, that's not happening. Okay. Stand out. He stood out. Grand slam, round numbers, Yoshida, proving people wrong or proving them right, depending on which side you're on. It's really fun to see. I love it.
It's a great standout, Trev. I mean, he's some of the things he's doing. Lefty with multiple hit games. Some Ted Williams stats are popping up. Tell you what, a lefty hitting left fielder and what he's doing offensively this year, making a lot of
use that.
Making a lot of
use that in the Yankees.
Making a lot of teams jealous. Not just that one team. And why would I like the short guy that hits either? Anyways, I changed my standout. I mentioned it while I was going through the games. I was going to give it to Kyle for being bratish because the people are about that. 7.1 shutty, 8 Ks. His stats on the year are great now, sure. I'm audibling, Trev. Something you said. And it's going to Milwaukee, and it's not going to Freddie Peralta, who could have got it. It's not going to Corbin Burns, who really could have got it with his 13 Ks. I'm going back end, off the sheet. Give me Devin Williams, who you're probably familiar with him. Like you said, he saved each game. And by the way, did it in a conservative fashion. 14 pitches, 8 pitches, 9 pitches that allowed him to pitch in all 3 of those games. Think about that. If one of those is a blow-up game where he throws 23 pitches, he's probably out the next day. But you know Devin Williams. You know he's one of the best relievers in baseball. You know he could save 3 straight games. How about Joel Payamps getting the hold in 2 of those games? A guy that had electric stuff that the Brewers have put in their factory. So as we go through these series and we dip our heads into each one and we want to sound knowledgeable enough without sounding stupid, if Joel Payamps or Elvis Peguero gives it up, we don't really flinch, right? We'd be talking about, he got clipped by De La Cruz, huh? Brewers bullpen, one of the staples of that team organizationally throughout the past few years, helps them get the sweep. So Devin Williams, hell, even Payamps and Peguero chipping in at the end, they get it done.
That's the formula. We love Devin Williams on the pod. Why didn't you mention Yohan Duran? Because he also got 3 saves this weekend. I
don't follow minor league baseball. Let's see.
Wow.
That's our standout.
Wow.
He got all 3. Good for him.
I didn't think it was going to happen. Rocco usually doesn't do that. Brought him in.
It's that time of the year. You got to get some wins. And it's time to get hot.
Dirt nasties on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Woo! Trev, hit me with it.
This is a long one. Bear with me, people. For this series, how about a little Tiger talk?
Yes.
Kerry Carpenter goes 5 for 11. He hit 3 bombs in the series, 6 ribbies for a 1.7. He has 17 homers in his first 80 games. The Tigers are coming for the Twins. You heard it here first. How about Tristan Casas for the Boston Red Sox? 4 for 9. Also had 3 homers with 5 ribbies for a 1.8. Nathaniel Lowe, nice early settler name. Texas Ranger, 6 for 11. 2 double homer, 3 RBIs, 5 runs scored for a 1.5. Henry Davis, outfielder, not catcher. Henry Davis of the Pittsburgh Pirates, 6 for 11. A double, a homer, 2 ribbies, 3 runs, and a stolen base. How about that? How about since July 1st? Do you like the month of July?
I love July.
Named after Julius Caesar, I believe.
I'm not doing month talk again.
Yeah, we're BBD knows what I'm talking about.
He is.
Chaz McCormick says, Trev, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Shut your fat mouth. Although my mouth is skinny. 14 for 35 since the start of July. That's a 400 average. He's hit 4 homers, 11 RBIs. He's got a stolen base for a 1.3. Now, you were going to have Bradish. You want me to talk about him now? Why is it highlighted?
Because I was going to give him my standout, so I was just going to take my notes from there.
I can't even read it. I can't even read. I'm changing it back to black ink.
Kyle Bradish has been really good. There's your analytics.
3 games started, 19 in a third innings pitch, only 1 earned run. He has 20 Ks for a .47 ERA. First 17 outings of the season, he owns a 3.05.
Mr. Worldwide.
Do we need any pitching in Baltimore? Bradish has no. Trev, shut up.
Give me the ball.
How about Salt Man? Give it to me. What's his name?
Charlie Martin.
3 games started, 19 innings pitched. Also, only 1 earned run with the 15 Ks. He, as well, like Kyle Bradish, has a .47 ERA. You just talked about Payamps. 7 innings pitched, 1-0. So you got a victory there. No earned runs, 10 Ks, 2 saves. He's doing his thing. Felix Bautista, another reliever there, closer for the Baltimore Orioles. 5 games pitched, 6 1/3. No hits. No runs, 11 Ks, only 2 walks, and 4 saves in that time. He's doing his thing. A big part of the reason the Orioles are where they're at. And that, my friends, is in Fuego. I guess I thought there was another section there, and there wasn't. So that wasn't too bad.
Okay. Fantastic job. The vaunted IL segment that the people love. And I've leaned into, too. We've gotten to a good place with it. Nick Anderson in that Atlanta bullpen. Talk about us more. Sorry, Atlanta. Nick Anderson goes to the IL. Joe Adele and Anthony Rendon. My God, Halos. Their IL is just ridiculous. Kyle Freeland and Shane Bieber. AJ Minter in that Atlanta pen too. Sheesh. Josh Donaldson, former MVP, goes on the IL with a calf thing. Brian Anderson, who's been one of the glue guys for the Brewers this year, also to the IL. Returning from the IL, how about Johnny Cueto twirling the pill for those fish? Jose Quintana for the Mets. He might be a trade piece. Remember how good he was at the deadline last year? Tyrone Taylor and Chris Taylor. I don't know if they're related. Zach Neto, your guy, comes back. Trev, along with Matt Moore. Bryce Miller, mentioned him. Kutch, we love that. Trade deadline up. And those are some of the guys around baseball, hurt or back. Love when there's more guys back. So let's do more of that. Let's start the week.
Awards!
I'm going to say it right now. I miss Kelsey.
I do too. She's
I haven't
grinding.
seen her in a long time.
She'll be at Floorball. Whoops.
I won't be there.
I know.
All my best, Kelsey and Casey. It's like they're a package deal now.
Yeah.
I miss both of them.
Maybe we'll get Casey saying awards at one point.
Oh my gosh. It's a great idea. That's why they pay you the big bucks.
I know it.
I'm going to give the Brotherly Love Award.
Yes.
No, I'm not talking about Philadelphia and the city of brotherly love. What's up with that? Why is it named that?
Nobody knows.
They got Rocky. Got a cool nickname. They got the Liberty Bell. They got a lot of stuff going on in Philly. I'm kind of in. I like Philly. Me and Philly, we're good together. So the Brotherly Love Award. A couple cool things happened. We know about the Rogers brothers pitching on the same team, and over the weekend, Josh and Bo Naylor did something that's never been done before in the history of Major League Baseball. So we'd like to talk about that. They became the first brothers to hit multi-run homers in the same inning for the same team when they each hit a 2-run shot in the third to put the Guardians ahead 4-0. How cool is that? Do you have a brother? You
Really
don't,
cool.
right?
I don't.
Brotherless.
Don't. You and BBD.
So you
Jimmy.
don't get this award.
Yeah.
You don't tune out, bro.
No, I was really
you
excited.
Don't get it.
I was really excited for this one.
We're like brothers a little bit. Like I've become like a brother figure to you, like an older brother, mentor, something like that, right?
Tough love. A lot of tough love.
A lot of tough love for me. That's what you deserve. Brothers are a really cool thing. And I have an older brother who I credit a lot for making me good at baseball, essentially. He was very good. I tried to keep up with him throughout my life. I'm 4 years younger than him. So it was always like, I need to beat my big bro. And it took me a long time to do it. But eventually I did. And so I have to thank him because he let me hang out with him. Like, we're friends. My brother and I have a great relationship. He's hilarious. Shout out Marshface. So I started thinking, like, man, how cool would it be to like be in the big leagues with your bro on the same freaking team?
It's pretty cool.
Really cool, right? So then I was like, how often does that happen that brothers play in the big leagues together? And what's going on right now in the big leagues? Like, how many siblings are there playing? Well, I got the list. I think people might be interested. There's more than you think.
Okay.
Right now in the big leagues, there are 8 sets of brothers playing. You got Bo and Josh, who I talked about. Yeah. Edwin Diaz is out, but Edwin and Alexis Diaz, both like elite relievers. Nick Maton and Phil Maton. Ramon Urias and Luis Urias. This article has it wrong. I haven't pulled an article. It says Julio and Luis. They're not related. It's Ramon and Luis Urias. William Contreras, Wilson Contreras. Taylor Rogers, Tyler Rogers. Aaron Nola, Austin Nola, Yuli Gurriel, and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. So 8 sets of brothers right now.
Crazy.
In the big leagues. That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Feels high.
Let's go in the backyard, mess around a little bit. We play Major League Baseball now. That's crazy.
Damn. How about this, though? In hockey, there's 30 sets of brothers. 30.
Wow.
What is that about?
Wait, where is this?
From the NHL. 30 sets of brothers. I'm not going to name them all because it's a lot.
30.
It's nuts. In the NBA.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, I just did it. 13. So I think it's more common than we think. But in my mind, playing with your brother or against your brother in a professional league is very rare. But 30 in the NHL, 13 in the NBA, 8 in MLB, and then in NFL, it's not as. Oh, it is too. 10. What's going on? What is going on here with brothers right now? That's what I want to know. I did some research, found some things that I was shocked, and I wanted to share it with the people. And that's my Brotherly Love Award. It's nuts. It's one thing. Like, I'm not a jealous guy. Jealous of these guys to get to play with your bro or against your bro in a professional league. My goodness. So shout out all the brothers out there for making it happen.
No snaps for me because I told you. Shout out to my big sis Renee. Big fan of her, and neither of us played pro ball yet. No, that's pretty cool. The hockey one's actually pretty funny, right? I don't know. Bring them to the same practices and stuff. Just figure it out. Get on the ice. I forgot to mention. This is what I wanted to say. One stat. Sorry. There's been 438 groups of brothers in Major League Baseball over the history. A lot. It's a lot. I mean, we could probably weed out some of those guys before the 60s that were just like 2-for-1 signings. Hey, my brother plays too.
I think I need to have another kid. I'm going to talk to Lydia about that.
Oh,
yeah.
The Plouffe boys.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just come back and be a father-son thing.
I've also seen Isla. I've seen Isla playing ball.
That's right. You know what? That's right, Jake.
Thank you. Some of us have sisters that we love.
I have a sister. I love her too.
I love your sister too. My award is going to the Leave the Door Cracked Award. Leave the Door Cracked Award. Trev, we've started daydreaming Ohtani a lot. It's happened. I fought it for half the year. I was proud of the Halos. Now I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Give me your Ohtani trade. Yeah, send him to the Giants. Send him to the Dodgers. Send him to Seattle. Send him to the Cardinals still. Why not? Maybe he'll save that whole damn city. I saw. It's rumor season so fun. I saw Juan Soto to the Marlins the other day and started drooling. I'm in on Ohtani. Send him wherever the hell you want. I still don't know if it's going to happen. But a really interesting thing could happen, and someone replied this to my my Twitter last night. This is Chris Rose porn. If Ohtani does get traded, which would be insane and crazy, and would be crazy excited for baseball if it happens, because what headlines? It gets really interesting if he gets traded to the National League, because Ohtani is by far the front runner for the American League. He's got 6.5 WAR right now, which in a given year, that can get you close to MVP status.
I think that's like almost my career WAR.
Hey, he's having a good year, you know? Right now he's leading in OPS in the American League.
The league was way tougher when I was playing in it.
That's what everyone says.
You've got 7-3 on Baseball Ref.
Slugging.
Thanks, Beavers.
He's leading in homers. He's leading in triples. He's leading in OPS plus, blah, blah, blah. All of it. Hits per 9 allowed. The guy's a freak show. We know all this. If he gets traded to the National League, I don't know what's going to happen because he probably, I mean, you always say probably with Ohtani because you don't know. He probably won't be able to rack up enough WAR to be a National League MVP. I think there will be guys that land ahead of him. He might not. He shouldn't have enough to win the AL MVP. Like Luis Robert is now in a crazy pace. A couple of the guys on the Rays. There's not like someone that hasn't been really pushing Ohtani for the AL MVP. Like it's going to be very interesting if he gets traded to the National League, what that does. And I don't have an answer. I don't know if the commissioner's office jumps in and does a special thing because they probably should. Because if Ohtani ends up with a 12 WAR season and he doesn't end up with an MVP award, and then meanwhile, say Luis Robert does win it on the White Sox who win 71 games, something's going to feel pretty off. So I don't know. I appreciate that being put on my radar, and it would be one of those. Well, you see a lot of stuff in baseball. This would be one of the more wild conversations.
So I was like kind of you mentioned that you were going to do this, and I was like, there's got to be examples of it before, and I think what happens is they just kind of like you're not in either discussion. So is your question like who is going to win it for the AL, or just what are they going to do?
Like as things currently stand, Ohtani gets traded to the Braves tomorrow. Braves, you wanted some love? Fine, take Ohtani. You got him. Congrats. I don't think he's going to win the AL MVP. Like I think Lou Bob or like Corey Seager or Randy, like one of those guys is going to end up having a 7-8 WAR season. But it's going to put baseball writers in a complete pretzel. Because Ohtani's obviously going to deserve some sort of MVP, but it's AL or NL traditionally, and that I know we're breaking the simulation a little bit, but that's what we do here.
Okay, so Rick Sutcliffe won the NL Cy Young. He won the NL Cy Young in 1984 after being traded from the Indians to the Cubs on June 13th.
Okay. So it was an early trade.
Did enough at the end to still win the NL Cy Young. It was also 1984 with a lot of people doing cocaine back then.
Whoa!
Difference.
And you basically get 2 months plus the deadline, so it gave him a little more time.
Carlos Beltran traded from the Royals to the Astros in 2004. He and that was when the Astros were still in the NL. He ended up 12th in NL MVP voting that season. Manny had some stuff with the Red Sox to the Dodgers. So there really isn't he would just, unless he does enough in the AL to like secure his AL supremacy and then gets traded to an NL team.
Which he also might. Like if Corey
it's
Singer
Wander Franco, it's
up,
Luis Robert. That's it. I mean, that's an interesting.
Like, is Ohtani gonna not be eligible?
Maybe
he's
he'll
not
usually
on an AL roster.
You don't say many interesting things,
Thank
but
you.
that was an interesting thing.
Well,
they
and again, someone opened that up to me, so I won't take credit for it.
Okay, so you're back to 0.
Do you want to know who DraftKings has as the 3 next guys?
Love to.
I know. Let me guess. Gotta be Franco. Gotta be Luis Robert. Those are my 2.
Luis Robert's a little outside the crew.
Oh, well, that's silly.
Any other players plus 500 on DraftKings right now?
What do you got?
Might be second after Ohtani is Corey Seager. Then it's Franco and Randy, and Marcus Semien is 5th right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Let that sometimes
I remember when Cespedes came over, it was a conversation. He didn't end up logging any down ballot votes, but
Ben Deming tweeted this at me last night. So thank you, Ben, for opening this up. And yeah, if you want to end up having a weird discussion, that's there for you. So as we sneak towards the trade deadline, where
I thought you were going to mention it. Chris Rose was talking about this at the house.
Chris Rose, I don't.
So over him. I gotta go. To a
and
show
it came
with him right
and
now.
it came from Feo in the chat.
Kept coming into me and Jess's bedroom at the Airbnb.
Please.
Oh, is this the wrong room? I'm old. All right. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your baseball week. I think we've got a real fun midweek one coming, and then we will also see you on Friday. Go the ball.
Chick sucks.
Shout out Dallas Braden.
Hot.
Hung out with him quite a bit. Talked ball with him.
Nice.
It's always good to. Man. A couple Cali boys.
Yeah.
And then I met the dude that baseball doesn't exist. You know what he said? Hates you.
Yeah. Checks out.
Nah, he didn't. Nice kid. He's young.